Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today. My name is Fred Munn. I am with Pure Life Carbon. Today, very privileged to have Jim Hole, our horticultural advisor, join us today with a brief history on his experience with our Absolute and Charged Carbon products. On that, I'll quickly turn it over to Jim. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. It's a great pleasure to be talking about this product. Just to give you some of the background that I have in growing things, I grew up in the greenhouse business. So I've got, I hate to say, more than 30 years of experience in it, and have grown a wide variety of crops. So everything from tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers, ornamental crops like geraniums, trees and shrubs. Tried a wide variety of different substrates, the stuff that you grow the plants in. So look at garden soil combined with peat moss, just peat moss and perlite and core fiber or coir fiber, the coconut fiber, some people call it. I've even grown in coffee grounds, rock wool substrate, which is kind of basalt rock that's melted and spun like cotton candy, all those things. And then of course the Absolute Carbon product is, I've had now 2 years of experience with it. And it's the kind of product, if you compare it to some of the other products that I've grown various plants in, the beauty of it is multifaceted. So if you look at it, it is a very clean mixture. So growing cannabis now for the past 2 years, it's essential to have a very clean material. And because of the process, you've eliminated diseases, insect pests, weeds, you name it. That doesn't occur with some of the other products like peat-based mixtures. So you've got weeds in there, you've got some other diseases, of course, garden soil, everything as far as negatives when it comes to different weeds and diseases and insects, they're in there. So starting off with the carbon, you've got a clean product. But beyond that, what you have is you've got the right environment for the right combination of air and water and nutrients. Those three have to work together really well to get the maximum productivity, high quality plants and plant material. You've got to have that. So we kind of forget about that. The plant roots have to breathe. Garden soils, other soils may be too dense for that. So they're not breathing, roots die off, roots don't grow properly. The carbon has the benefit, of course, of all encompassing all great aspects of all three of those. And what I find is that it just seems to balance it out perfectly. You don't have to really work so hard. If you look at some of the other substrates that you normally grow in, they take a lot more work. So we got a clean material, but also this, because of the structure of the carbon, you get the really good balance. So you do have lots of air in there, enough moisture in there, and then you have the third ingredient on the fertility where this material hangs on to the nutrients. If you have something like, let's say it is a rock wool product, it's great. It does provide a good environment for air and water, but it doesn't hang on to the nutrients. The carbon material clings on to it and releases it to the plants readily so that they stay happy, and it's a much easier product for growers to manage. So growers are looking for that. They want more simplicity. They don't want to be spending tons of time trying to tweak everything in the growing environment. By having this product, it does a lot of the work for the grower. And again, at the end of the day, you can put aside the disease issues for the most part if you're doing everything right with your cultural activities in your different greenhouse environment or indoor environment. And so you've got this nice kind of more or less worry with growing the crop to finish. So these are all the benefits. And the other one that really is emerging, we all know about it, called the environment. The thing is with this, what happens when you have product that is, for example, has to go to, say, maybe a landfill? Some of them do. Other ones we're mining, like, for example, the peat moss. The big thing now is, doesn't matter where you go in the world, there's the discussion about, can we continue to mine the peat moss, which is what we're doing. We're mining it. And that's not a renewable resource for the most part. So we're taking that out. What happens to these peat bogs? Guess what? If you look at the carbon products, that we have here now, they are essentially going to be renewable in the sense that you grow more of the feedstock, in this case bamboo, and so you're going to have a nice readily available source of it. But when you do dispose of it, so-called disposal, when that goes into the soil, it's permanently sequestered carbon. If you put in, say, manure into the soil, it's great stuff. Say a bunch of leaves from your yard go into soil, it's great, but the microbes chew that up, and a good portion of it's released as carbon dioxide into the air. If you look at the carbon, the microbes can't eat it. So you sequester that carbon permanently in the soil, stays put, and provides a great environment for growing plants as well. So it's got so many benefits that it's really interesting to see this finally come into the commercial horticultural space, because it's the next thing, without a doubt.
Well, that's excellent, Jim. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Fred.